Hey, as someone experienced in machine learning, one of the challenges I frequently faced was the availability of data. More specifically, access to data to train my models. At a time where data doubles every 2 years, access to training ML models with reliable data sets should only increase and not stay constant. However, there are reasons as to why a lot of data isn't being open sourced to the public. For one, a lot of individual consumer data is restricted by a lot of data preserving rules such as GDPR, COPPA, and HIPAA. This makes access to these data sets very difficult and often infeasible for individuals without licenses. Next. And that is where our solution comes into play by leveraging a concept called federated learning to gain further insights into data without requiring access to all the data in one unified data center. Next. There are a lot of potential areas where federated learning can further revolutionize a lot of industries. For one, healthcare, financial, and security areas are very sensitive to data sharing. And that is where we have shown as a proof of concept of our technology being really useful.
Yeah, so let's walk through kind of what we've built. So with federated learning, we first start with an initial model, and we've kind of built it so you can either use TensorFlow or PyTorch. And it starts at kind of a centralized server, and it gets sent out to each of the institutions or kind of the federated nodes, I guess. And then each of those nodes does training on its private data. And so it all has, like, each of the institutions have their own like kind of unique model, but it sends back just the parameters, which are like the weights, the biases, but not the data, back to the centralized server, where it's then processed using federated averaging to consolidate the models and be able to send it back the learnings from all of the federated nodes. And we're using, with this, we're also using Azure Blob Storage and Google GCP's storage, cloud storage, to facilitate this transfer. We've also tested it as like kind of a first data set to try with loans. And it turns out like our federated model did perform better than when training on the individual data by itself. So there is definitely benefits to be seen.
One of the other key features of using this is in detecting if a patient has COVID or not based on their CT scan. A lot of hospitals are not going to share data across other hospitals due to HIPAA. And using this technique can help us realize an algorithm or realize an approach of converging or getting further insights into your data without actually needing it in all under one place. And we've actually implemented it, but due to time constraints, we weren't able to formalize.